Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the North American Apprentice round of 8. We are here getting set up for our next series of the day. It's going to be Future taking on DisK. Ephemeron going to be map number 1. As we start to load into it, the replays take a second here, but we're getting into it. Thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate y'all hanging out. All right, here we are, as we'll get the music to stop, music to start, and here we are, down in the bottom right-hand side, representing Team Root. It is DisK, the Canadian Protoss player. His opponent up at the top left-hand side in the red from Infinity Gaming. It is Future. Also a Nation Wars representative for his squad. Pretty cool group of guys, if I say so myself. Very awesome. As he does open up with a proxy Rax here. Very interesting. Interesting indeed. We'll see how this works out for him. Here's a probe scout already making its way across the map here for DisK. Let's see how he responds. And once he figures out what's happening here. Alright. So the probe gets in. He sees that 2 gases have been taken. Knows about that, well, at least knows that there's some sort of proxy going on. He doesn't yet know exactly what it is. Ooh, and a bunker comes down right in the way. He sees the barracks as well, so he knows what's happening. He's going to try and keep this bunker from going up. That's really the priority for him. And for Future, you know, very nice being able to block this natural expansion. A Zealot is being made for DisK. A necessity to hold these earlier proxies. Okay, the Reaper is alive, and it's now getting into the mineral line. It's going to try and force that Zealot to choose between stomping the bunker or dealing with the Reaper. And the Reaper's going to try and maximize the damage while it chooses to deal with the other side of things. Good target fire here, but he gets surrounded. And down goes this Reaper, but it gets 4 total worker kills. That is not too shabby. The SCV is going to return home. Another Reaper will come out. Bunker is unable to finish. The Reaper's on the run, heading up to the main base. It gets past, and it's going to get right into this mineral line and get to work. The Stalker is trying to chase him down. The Reaper looks like he's just going to try and get out and escape, stay alive for another day. Alright, so that Reaper was able to get back in the mineral line, got a couple kills, then did get cleaned up. There's a pylon coming down here. The Cyclone might see it, as it did just see that probe leave from that direction. DisK, meanwhile, is moving across the map with a few units here. He's going to be looking to apply some pressure, try and get some damage inflicted onto Future here. Let's see if he can. A Bonded facility coming up on the backside of things for him as well. Base beginning to take some hits, that pylon rather, that proxy, to try and allow for some more warpins. The Cyclone got the lock on and is going for the kill, and will get it. Escapes down to the bottom side. Another Stalker looking to meet the same fate as the Cyclones come back into range. Ooh, even scanned to get that little bit of extra vision and was unable to get the kill. The Stalkers and Zealot able to delay this bunker. Now repairs coming through onto the Cyclone. That should allow it to win this fight. Oh no, but it gets away. Oh, it got away from the SCVs a half step and didn't have the constant repairs, so didn't have enough health to withstand another volley. So it does fall. That other Cyclone is equally low, only at 1 HP. As it hides down in the grass, the SCV is going to be that buffer in the front. Try and allow this Cyclone to win the fight. Lock-on comes through from the one that's farther away. It comes up while the Stalker was distracted. And though it has 1 HP, it is mighty. It cleans up these Stalkers. Another one that's in warp should get cleaned up as well. A nice defense from Future here. Keeping most of his Cyclones alive. Did lose a couple workers. But 7 probes on the other side went down. We have 6 Stalkers die as well. A phenomenal bit of efficiency for the Infinity Gaming Terran off the bat here in Game 1. DisK setting an observer across the map, going to try and figure out what's going on. +1 weapons on the way for Future now as well, as he looks to ramp up for a very strong bio push. Pretty stock standard by him. Twilight Council on the way behind this for DisK as he looks to continue playing a very regular looking game. We'll see what he gets out first from this. I have to imagine it'll be Blink, especially with his disruptor count continuing to climb. Combat shields being taken now for Future, continuing to get his upgrades, get himself well prepared. Good awareness here, sees the shimmer of that observer, makes sure he denies every bit of information that he can. It looks like he will indeed start to move through the center of the map. We have DisK finishing up his natural base, getting that all finishing up the simulators at his natural base, getting those saturated. 3 Cyclones pressuring the front, shouldn't be able to do too much, just looking for a lock-on if they can, and unable to even find that scan. Coming in a second too late there, they lost the vision, so the lock-on broke. Ooh, and they are able to immediately force a cancel on that 3rd base. That's very nice. Knew that the lock-on with that mag field accelerator would do just a little bit too much for him to be able to keep it alive. But canceling it, you know, it's not too big a deal when it's at that small of a percentage. It didn't lose too much time. Cyclone's locking onto it. They're going to try and just commit and get the cancel once again. And this time is much more annoying. He sent that probe back to its tasks. Was trying to, you know, move on to the next thing, but going to have to bring that probe back and finally get the space down on the 3rd attempt. Really nice work by Future there. As his tank count continues to climb, his Sim City continues to be perfectly aligned. And he is coming around with this double drop. Let's see what he'll be able to get done. Heading towards his natural base. Blink about 10 seconds out. Won't quite be done in time to help. And looks like they will be able to unload freely. Unloaded perhaps maybe a little too early there. Only getting 4 workers so far. Here come the disruptors. Ooh, okay. Ooh, okay. Good pickup. Ooh, better blink though. Takes down that medevac. Forge getting added on now for DisK up in the main base as he adds on additional gateways. +1 armor on the way now for him as well. Future grouping up on the front side. This observer once again in position, and it is going to be able to spawn out this army, leaving the base. 54 to 31, that army supply. DisK posturing just between his bases here. Doesn't want to get caught off guard by Future committing to the other side, and he sees him coming. Setting up for this defense. That's a lot of Blink Stalkers making up this army. Not the most tanky of forces. Blink going to be so crucial in keeping these guys alive. The Disruptor Novas need to be measured here to keep Future at bay. Siege positions moving forward. He's tightening the noose. Getting closer to bringing this game into his favor. The Disruption Novas go wide once again as the bio starts to move forward. This Nexus is starting to come into danger. The tank shots continuing to open up onto these Stalkers. The Disruption Nova goes out and it gets taken down. No connection there. And that is not what you need if you're DisK right now. Future is pushing forward and pushing through the buttery Stalkers there. GG. Future takes a very nice game, number 1. And yeah, just pushes straight through that. Pushes straight through that force, right? I mean, it was like I was saying, it doesn't really have any tank. It doesn't have very much survivability in the long term. And once you lose that once you lose the buffer, or in that case, never had it to begin with, and you also aren't able to connect with any of those Disruption Novas and run out of Disruption Novas, you know, unable to keep them at bay, before, you know, keeping them from stimming forward, keeping them from committing into your soccer line, just becomes a very tough situation to play out of. That will leave Future up 1-0. Thunderbird going to be our second map here. Perhaps we'll get a little bit longer of a game from these guys as they go to a very, very easy 3-base map. See what he'll be able to get done as we are loading into it, making our way through. Alright. Looks like we are good to go. So into game we go. Oh, I didn't know I had that graph. Interesting. Okay. So here we are, guys. Oh, best of 5. Game 2. Up in the top left from Root Gaming, it is DisK. DisK. That's how I'll say his name. A little bit more gumption behind it. And his opponent down on the bottom right side from Infinity Gaming, it is Future. Who's once again going to proxy some barracks. I love it. Give me more. Just spoon feed me these games. I love it. I'm all over it. Give me proxy raxes and give me cannon rushes all day. To cast, not to play. Don't do that if you're playing me. But if you're playing someone else and I get to cast it, definitely, you absolutely should do it. That SCV showed itself to DisK and then didn't show itself in the main base. So does he catch on to that? Looks like he does. Future asking him to stop. This is a great mind game because there's another barracks that's built just up the ramp. Oh man, that's so cheeky. Especially with him saying stop, and especially given that they know each other. Oh, that's so good. Granted, this proxy is much weaker now. Just one barracks worth of Marines isn't super terrifying. If this bunker can finish, it gets a little scarier, and it is building outside of vision. So it does indeed look like it should be able to finish, and Cybercore is just finishing up for DisK. Let's see how we'll respond to this. With the bunker finishing, makes this position much more difficult to break. Stalker's doing what it can to mess with things here, and it looks like it will at the very least keep a second bunker from going up. For the time being, 3 Marines inside. The probe is able to sneak out though, as it wants to get on the other side. Curious to see what exactly it's up to. Shield batteries coming up near the ramp to help top off these Stalkers as they continue to trade bit by bit. And they are able to snipe that SCV. Nice moves. That will, of course, keep any repairs from coming through. Keep any additional bunkers. There is another SCV that's over here now, though. Oh, they're actually going to move forward right before these shield batteries are finishing. With the help of that SCV, it's a little bit of an extra buffer, and they are able to take down one of these Stalkers. That is a very nice job. by Future. Recognized his opportunity and jumped on it immediately. So he will now have to evacuate, try to save what he can. There's just going to be a couple of Marines that end up getting away. This is very weird. Future is now proxy added on a tech lab to that proxy and is starting up Marauder production with concussive shells on the way. The Stalkers may be able to cancel it. Let's see. It doesn't actually... Needs 8, 12, 11, 10 more seconds. Oh, if that Marauder can buy time, the Marines are coming back as well. It's almost done. 3 seconds, 2 seconds. Oh my goodness, wow. It stays alive. Concussive shells comes into play, and the Marauder starts a chase. And they catch one Stalker immediately. The additional Marauder, third one, is on the way as well. Back at home, we have Cyclone production on the way for Future. We have continued Marine production. SCV production, rather, excuse me. Continuing to contest the front. He's starting to run a little low on the first shield battery's worth of energy. The second one having to get involved, and some probes having to get pulled in order to pressure this back. So much pressure coming through from Future. As the medevac arrives, he's going to be able to ferry up into the main base. Ooh, or even just give high ground vision and try and take down that pylon with the lock-on, and these Marauders doing such great work against these Stalkers, and a good pickup micro there as well, dodging out on some of this damage. Very, very nice by Future so far. Doing great work here. Taking down the Cybercore. Forcing another one to get made. Having to remake a pylon as well. You know, none of this is devastating damage by any means, but it is just very, very annoying and really just costly for DisK, right? He's having to spend more money each time he loses a structure. It's another at least 100 minerals down the drain. Here come these probes now, going to try and fight this while they're stuck in the corner. Good pickup micro here. Future is playing so well right now. Loses one Cyclone, and that is it for 8 workers, plus a few Stalkers before that. 29 to 27 is that worker count currently as we near the 6-minute mark. And Future has not left this natural base. He is continuing to siege it down, finally going to move out and get himself to safety. On the other side of things, though, this proxy was a robotics facility, and that gateway has 2 immortals to its name, and now it's going to have a warp prism as well, and it's going to be right outside the base. Does Future have what he needs to hold this back? He loses a Cyclone on the rally. Loses the bunker, the barracks finally as well. And here we go, just pushing straight through to try to target down that siege tank, and they do successfully. Now the 2 immortals are free to open up on whatever they choose. 21 to 30, that army supply. And this Banshee is not done just yet. The next tank is going to be a bit of help, but if the Immortals can fire on it, it will indeed die very, very quickly. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, the first Banshee arrived here and is assisting in this medevac and Marauders in their harassment of the main base. Recall comes through. What's he recalling? Okay, just a few Stalkers, but that's going to be enough to scare him off. On the other side, Future trying to get something done with that cloaked Banshees, trying to get some damage dealt in order to slow down this attack, and was unable to find what he was looking for. The Warp Prism was going to be able to get another round of Warp-ins here. It's 37 to 30 in army supply as the natural commands orbital falls, and so, oh, actually at the same time the proxy is getting unpowered. So it's all just a matter of if he can buy enough time, right? If Future has the army that he needs to beat this head on, and if he can just buy himself time, buy himself space. The SCV pull comes through, but down goes that siege tank. The Immortal in a fantastic position here, cutting off those SCVs from being able to march forward, but they do eventually get through. 3 Immortals left as the Warp Prism falls. 27 and 24, that worker supply in favor of DisK, but man, what a scrappy game here. Future is marching back through the center of the map once again, this time with a lot of his SCVs. He's going to try and break DisK head on. 29 army supply to 8. plus those SCVs. This is a very formidable attack from Future. DisK is going to need to pull out all the stops. Okay, here are the SCVs right at the front. Anti-armor missile will go through onto all those stalkers. It's worker on worker carnage here on the front lines. As DisK is desperate to hold on. The Banshee's targeting down the stalkers. The bio staying alive, and 12 probes have fallen. The sentry's getting warped in it, but not in time to force field anything that matters. Cutting off a little bit of this bio as the SCVs go a little bit too far forward, but good pickup here by Future, putting them in the medevac and getting them into combat. They're desperate to try and hunt down these stalkers and finish the fight. 29-11, that army supply, as the Marines are opening up onto absolutely everything. The last few workers are trying to keep themselves alive, try and provide space for these stalkers to do their job. But now the Viking has landed. It's 6 workers still alive for Future to just 1 for DisK, and the army supply is almost double. Does Future have it here? Does he have enough in the main base? And with the pickup micro, he most definitely does. And he will advance to 2-0 in this best of 5. Almost to match point. A phenomenal game from Future there, as he just executes very cleanly. And immediately, no hesitation on pulling the SCVs. I love it. Love that fight. I love that play from him. And yeah, imagine if Vikings weren't the counter to stalkers, right? Then he would have had a chance. Then it was doable. Yeah, it is always funny. I always forget how good Vikings are until you see them just gun down a couple stalkers. It's brutal. As I wait for StarCraft 2 to allow me to open the next replay for Game 3. Alright, we're finally getting to open it. Winter's Gate will be the map. Should be a fun time, guys. Thanks for hanging out. I remember losing to Mass Vikings when I was in Bronze. Like I was like a Bronze Wings of Liberty player. And I remember some dude doing Mass Vikings to me. It was not... you know, and I don't even remember it negatively. You know? It just was like, oh, that can happen. That makes sense. And then, like, I expected it. DisK spawns in the top left. Like, from then on, I was always worried, like, oh, is this Terran gonna Mass Viking me? Because I thought that was normal. I was like, ah. I also, at the time, thought that games should take, like, 45 minutes to an hour every time. So, what did I know, really? Probably a lot less than this guy in the bottom right. In the red from Infinity Gaming, it's Future. Who's once again proxying a barracks. Clearly a very big fan of it, either in this matchup in general or just against DisK. I want to say that it's more just against DisK, because I've seen him play a lot of other PvTs, but it is a pretty good. It's a pretty good build. And DisK will once again be left to pick up the pieces here, try and figure out what in the hell Future is doing, where he is building it, and why. And Probe gonna get involved in a little bit of hand-to-hand combat here. Unfortunately for him, SCV does have friends, and we'll go ahead and call in the banners. Future checking and seeing if there's a natural base. This time, DisK has not thrown one down. Instead, invest that money into a Zealot and a Pylon. It snuck out a probe to the right-hand side. We'll see what it's up to. Looks like it's just trying to find where exactly this proxy is coming from. Second SCV is going over to the right-hand side. I'm interested what he's up to. First bunker will finish here on the low ground, as now Stalker production is beginning as the first Zealot has come out. Shield battery coming up at the top of the ramp as well, as DisK wants to make sure that he does not die to just getting overwhelmed by Marines here. More continue to stream in. These barracks, though, are going to go ahead and return home. Future Gonna be content with the pressure that he's put on with just the, you know, the few stalkers, a few Marines of commitment that he has here. And is gonna be content just to contain him. Marines in the bunker. We have an SCV spotting the proxy here, the robotics facility, and the gateway. So DisK was going for that exact same response that he did in the last game. This time, though, Future is going to have full knowledge of where it is and how far along it is as well. And that is an absolutely phenomenal bit of intel for the Red Terran. But the probe gets in. We'll be able to see absolutely everything, which kind of sucks for Future. Oh, okay. This is weird. What do we have here? Kills the probe. Is he pulling these just to try and kill this proxy? It does appear so. Unfortunately, those stalkers walked across the map and really are not fans of that idea. They're going to go ahead and chase these guys back home. The barracks are just now arriving back home as well. Meanwhile, though, the Marines getting into the mineral line. Let's see what they can get done. They get one already. Oh, okay, they just need to fight here, I think. I feel like them trading out in that situation would have just been much better. On the other side, we have the stalkers working on the tech lab, trying to take it out. Cyclone looking for a kill and gets it. Now just has to stay alive. Siege tank started up for Future now as well as the bio rallying out, trying to hold on, trying to maintain this defense. 21 to 20 is that worker count. The stalkers continue to pick off more. Cyclone getting involved. The Marines up in the main base of DisK are still alive and still kicking. Not contributing too much right now. The stalkers eventually finish clearing up the first Cyclone there, and oh my goodness, Future actually lets that Immortal in. Lowered the wall for him. SCV's still trying to find us around, still trying to finish him off. The tank now getting involved. The Immortal wants that tank. He wants to kill him. Oh, he's trying to find him, and he's just not quite able to. Siege tank getting involved once again. The Immortal is unable to get the finishing blows. The game will stabilize for a moment. Stalker's getting added on for DisK as he wants to continue pushing forward. 18 to 22 is that worker count. And so DisK making a bit more money right now. Ooh, almost knocked over my cup of water. SCVs are returning back home from the other side. Future adding on Widow Mines. He's getting a Viking now as well to help pressure away that Warp Prism that will inevitably be coming. Of course, we know it's already done. Widow Mine in position at the front. Okay, here comes the Warp Prism. Gonna try and sneak his way around here. The Widow Mine not quite in good position. Unloading right on top of this tank. It's gonna need to unsiege. The Zealot is right on top of it. And instead, the units just get back into the Warp Prism and head on up. The Viking really wants that Warp Prism. That health bar is so crucial for this pressure of DisK to continue working. Repairing up everything. Future holds on as DisK continues to warp in at the front. He is securing a natural base behind this. There's still no economic transition from Future. He is still locked on just the one base, and it's looking like he will be for quite some time right now. So he has not thrown down an expansion or really even looks like he wanted to. He's been so occupied with dealing with this push, with dealing with this pressure. He's just not having a lot of free time to be thinking about frilly things such as expansions and getting more money. 23 to 24 is that worker count now as it falls a little bit closer to parity. Shades coming up as he, oh, actually is able to get in, and I'm curious if he just goes to the middle line. Pardon me. I'm curious if he just goes to the middle line in that situation, what happens? Because, I mean, having 3, you're able to one-shot workers, you're able to one-shot Marines. What, is he going to fire a tank into his own worker line, you know? It's an interesting thought concept. Thought experiment. That's the word I'm looking for. As DisK will, in reality, be just backing up here, right? He knows he has a natural base. He knows he's ahead on economy. He's going to add on a couple of shield batteries, so he knows he feels safe against anything that could be getting thrown at him right now. And he is just going to be very content with this game state. The observer sees that army before it gets taken out. So he knows what his opponent has. He doesn't quite know if it's coming across the map, which of course it is. Oh my goodness, is that the SCV pull again? Future, you madman. Oh my goodness, second game in a row. And this time unprompted. Let's see what this gets done. As the bio will arrive before these SCVs even show themselves. First tank in position. The SCV is actually going to the right side. Okay, never mind. He does bring them around. Siege tanks wiggling forward, getting closer. The shield battery's trying to take some abuse. There's the Guardian Shield. The SCVs being that buffer, but the force fields are great. Cutting off a lot of those SCVs from getting to the front lines, from blocking these shots, but the tanks are just opening fire from the back. They are still alive for so long, but is that enough? The shield battery is giving so much extra survivability to this army. It's not looking like Future is gaining much ground here. The Adepts staying alive. They're getting on top of these tanks, and GG is called. DisK able to push through and hold on in game number 3, taking us to a 2-1 scoreline. We'll be taking just a short little break here, guys, to get game 4 loaded up. And we'll be right back with more North American Apprentice action. Thanks for watching. We'll be right back.
Dis-moi que ça va.
Olives had a major run. Maraschino cherries, major run. No one had a run like limes. No one.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the North American Apprentice round of 8. Just finishing getting the scores set up here, and then take you guys into the action here for game 4. As we kick things off, down to the bottom right-hand side of Disco Bloodbath in the blue, from Root Gaming, he is DisK, the Canadian Protoss. His opponent in the top left, in the red, from Infinity Gaming, looking to close out this series, he is Future. And this time, is still going to be proxying. Aw, yeah. Or maybe not. This could just be normal. Let's see. There's a small chance he's just being a weirdo. Yep. The old fake proxy. And of course, this time is the time that DisK checks for proxies. So, mission accomplished, mind game successful. So, double refineries are being taken for Future up in the main. DisK still on just the one gas for now. Pretty normal stuff. Second gas, perhaps a little sooner than you can see in some builds. We'll see exactly what he's going to do with it. Of course, tangibly, it's going to mean a faster factory. Immediately getting dropped here. Also being built at the proxy location, notably. So, DisK will not know about it. DisK getting a scout off. All right, guys. We'll be right back. I'm gonna go put my dog away. Be right back. Kentucky! Hey! Go! Okay, guys, we are back. Going into it. Had a dog get loose. Had to go tame it. Okay, nice block. Keeps that probe out. Reactored Hellions coming out now for Future as he gets his barracks back up into his main. Starport also being built here. Just continuing to deny that information for DisK. I don't know why that keeps happening. My usage isn't spiking or anything. Interesting. Probes are still looking around for these proxies, and he still has no idea where it is. And due to its location, you know, it's not a huge deal for DisK that he doesn't find this, but he's going to be caught completely by surprise by these Hellions getting dropped into his main base. This could be quite disastrous for him. Very potent force. 4 Hellions to a mineral line are... oh man, they have a fun time. They have quite the barbecue, and see if they'll be able to find it as they are loaded up in the center of the map. All right, coming in. The boost is there. There's no units available right now in the main base. All the Hellions are unloaded, and here we go. Line them up, baby. Toasting them. 6 go down immediately. Oh, my goodness. This is phenomenal damage. 12 going down. Oh, man. He's going to get at least 14 here. My goodness. And the medevac escapes with all 4 Hellions. What a start to Game 4 here for Future. Absolutely phenomenal. Liberator making its way across the map now as well. Might get spotted by that probe. Okay, we'll manage to avoid it. Looking for its next opportunity. Meanwhile, the Hellions are coming back into the main base. There's not much here, but they're going to kill him anyway. Meanwhile, the army of DisK is just marching straight across. At this point, he is just going to go all in, it seems. Seems like he just does not think is much of a chance anymore, trying to maximize any damage he can inflict on the other side. The Hellions come in to finish the job on the workers that ran away from the Liberator. One Stalker is trying to take down that Liberator, and it should be able to force it to unsiege for now. The Stalkers have arrived on the other side. A few Marines getting caught as they try to go from that proxy location, and that will be enough to say GG as the DisK sees the top of that ramp and ends up clearing things out. A very nice game from him as from Future as he closes out that series 3-1. A nice victory for the Infinity Gaming Terran player as he advances into our round of 4. We're going to take just a short break, guys, so I can update the Liquipedia, or the Team Liquid link, and get everything up to date on that. And then we'll go straight into our next best of 5 and our final best of 5 for the day, guys. So we'll be back here in just a short couple seconds, or minute, more like. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll be right back.